Were champions and they fought the #1 contenders. When rankings really mattered, the best took on the best. They were willing to fight anybody. They would go to war. They would go dick to dick, nipple to nipple. And they didn't care who it was because they wanted to prove that they are the best in the world. Well, those days are gone, apparently, according to some fighters in the UFC right now. A lot of them are running away.
I need just a sprinkle of why. Because where did this come from? Everybody likes and respects Alex Pereira. Everybody likes and respects Khamzat Chimaev. But it feels personal.
It's the truth, but but I also know
uncomfortable or not?
No, it's not uncomfortable. I mean, boxing's now become a 365-day-a-year sport. There seems to be events on every single day. I can live with Jake Paul having 2 of those days, knowing that I'm still going to get decent fights for the majority of the year.
Khamzat Chimaev has pushed hard for a fight with Alex Pereira, turning the matchup into one of the most heated topics in MMA today. He recently claimed in an interview that Pereira is ducking him, insisting that the champion is avoiding the challenge because he knows how dangerous the stylistic clash would be. Khamzat built his entire argument around the idea that Pereira is protecting his position. This claim instantly fueled drama across the MMA world and set the stage for a larger debate, pushing fans to look deeper into the motives behind Pereira's refusal and whether Khamzat is reading the situation correctly.
Everyone knows this guy is not my level. That's why he's running away. Why accept the fight against Teixeira? Why he not accept the fight against me? I destroyed the guy 5 rounds, but he's saying like, I'm not famous for Teixeira fans and he's good striker, one of the best strikers. Good fight for me. Everyone knows that, UFC knows that, but UFC don't want to give this guy from me. I don't think so. He want that fight. It's gonna be not respect for Alex. He accept the fight. They're gonna pay good for Alex, you know. Like, one more fight, and I will go up next fight.
Alex Pereira had previously argued that he didn't have any interest in engaging with Khamzat because he had set different goals. However, Khamzat refuses to believe that and instead believes that if Alex truly believes he's on the right track with his goals, then he would not be so offended about fighting him. This created an even larger tension because people began doubting Alex's genuity with regards to his goals and if he might be ducking a tough matchup because it would ruin what he currently had going with regards to momentum within the UFC.
I don't know if you're aware of this yet, but middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev has called you out and said that congratulations, but now you guys need to finish your business. Are you aware of what business that is, and are you interested in him moving up to fight you at this stage?
O campeão peso médio te desafiou, Khamzat Chimaev, falou parabéns, mas vocês têm negócio a resolver. Que negócios são esses e te interessam?
Obrigado pelos parabéns, mas eu quero uma super luta, igual eu falei, quero lutar nos pesos pesados. Então, só agradeço só pelos parabéns.
Thanks for congratulating me, but all I want is a super fight. I want to fight at heavyweight, but all I can say is thank you.
Moreover, Michael Bisping brought more fuel to the fire by stating that it might be very easy for the stylistic difference to be what's truly causing Pereira's reservations. According to Bisping, Pereira performs very well against strong strikers, but struggles more against excellent wrestlers, particularly those who apply pressure constantly and control space as effectively as Khamzat. It's because of this, Bisping insisted, that Pereira probably senses it on an internal level, which is why he finds himself apprehensive about this particular match.
Because stylistically, he would beat him easily. And that 99% of the UFC fan base know that. They know he's a good knockout artist. He's a good striker. He hits hard. But in an MMA fight, he would take him down and control.
Michael Bisping didn't stop there. He went on to criticize the broader culture within the UFC, where fighters are accused of running away from certain matchups. He said this pattern is becoming more visible, and it threatens the integrity of competition. Without naming names, he implied that too many fighters prioritize strategic avoidance instead of proving themselves against all contenders. Bisping warned that if this mindset continues to grow, it could damage the UFC from the inside. This commentary naturally looped back to Pereira, making fans question whether he was becoming part of this worrying trend.
Were champions and they fought the #1 contenders. When rankings really mattered, the best took on the best. They were willing to fight anybody. They would go to war. They would go dick to dick, nipple to nipple. And they didn't care who it was because they wanted to prove that they are the best in the world. Well, those days are gone, apparently, according to some fighters in the UFC right now. A lot of them are running away.
Chael Sonnen stepped in with his own take, explaining that the UFC now has a massive promotional opportunity because the drama between Khamzat and Pereira came out of nowhere but caught fire instantly. He said that the tension feels personal, whether or not it actually is. And when something feels personal, the UFC always finds a way to amplify it. Chael insisted that even if the matchup isn't realistic right now, the organization will keep the storyline alive. This added even more weight to Khamzat's claim and pushed the narrative into a new phase.
Of why? Because where did this come from? Everybody likes and respects Alex Pereira. Everybody likes and respects Khamzat Chimaev. But it feels personal.
Dricus du Plessis then spoke about doing something about the issue and said that it isn't feasible because Pereira has a totally different plan in mind. DDP personally thought that he would not be able to beat Pereira. Talking about Pereira's skills, DDP said that with his precision and accuracy, as well as experience at a controversial level, he would shatter Khamzat's pressure. It brought a refreshing and razor-sharp commentary to all the fan reactions that were going on everywhere.
Khamzat has called out Pereira. What do you make of that?
I mean, he's always had crazy call-out. There's no way he beats Pereira, in my opinion. I think Pereira right now is one of the greatest to ever do this sport. He's a big guy. Even now at light heavyweight, he looked so big against Goliath. It was crazy. So
Michael Bisping followed up on these points with more statements on why Khamzat versus Pereira shouldn't be next because Khamzat is still so new as a middleweight champion. It was argued that a new champion needs to stand out within their belt as opposed to reaching outside of it. It suggested an imbalance and, as with the previous concern, added fuel to the notion that the UFC itself lacks structure. It also put focus back on Khamzat and whether he was wasting no time by calling for a fight that doesn't make sense from a competition perspective.
But for Khamzat Chimaev, there's people there, for sure. There's Nasruddin Imavov, who got a great win in Paris. He beat Caio Barrio. He looked fast. The boxing was unbelievable. He was so quick. That'd be a great fight because the man can wrestle as well. And then this weekend, you got Renier Derrida taking on Brendan Allen. Now, that's going to be a great fight. And Renier Derrida is unbelievable. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He stopped Bob Nickel with that knee.
Brendan Allen agreed and added that a contest against Pereira should not even be within Khamzat's immediate schedule. The fact that Khamzat would have multiple active contenders he would need to deal with before even considering a champion from a different division stuck with Brendan. It served perfectly as a response to Bisping and added more fuel to the fire about Khamzat continuing on at middleweight and getting a legacy there instead. It added a twist on whether it's more emotional as a fan push.
I think that's kind of like the story of Chimaev, right? Like, he just talks a lot, he gets a lot of eyes, like, it's not to the degree, but it's like Conor talking just to stay relative. Obviously, like, Chimaev's not that bad, right? He doesn't say that much stuff and that much reckless stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's got a lot of work to do in our division first, and it's not like he's a huge 85er that's cutting a lot like Alex was to get to 85 to where it's like, all right, I became a champion, I defended once, like, let's just go up or whatever. So, yeah, it's weird, but I don't think that's in his future right now.
Another major storyline gaining momentum is the fight happening in just 1 week, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. Chael Sonnen also weighed in on this matchup after seeing Jake's recent workout. He said the entire session looked like it was built around hurting Joshua with power shots. Chael warned that this approach doesn't make sense because Joshua is too experienced, too strong, and too used to power exchanges. He explained that Jake trying to hurt Joshua early is a bad strategy, which transitions directly from the earlier theme of fighters not understanding the levels involved.
He'd give you 2 or 3 shots so he could get 1. And I just share with you, I don't love the idea of Jake trying to hurt Joshua. That could be a byproduct of building up. I used to work with a fighter.
Chael continued, saying that Jake does not have any chance of damaging Joshua, no matter how confident he may be. Chael goes on to offer that maybe Jake will frustrate Joshua with his footwork and timing, but he will not be able to hurt him. Chael emphasizes that it is very important for Jake to understand these things before he goes out and makes some sort of rash decisions. Chael said if he decides he's going to stand there and box with Joshua, it will be an end immediately.
Jake's ability to hurt Joshua does not exist. Jake has an ability to annoy Joshua, and he has an ability, at least theoretically, to point and outpoint Joshua.
However, Hearn quickly reacted to Jake's knockout prediction and immediately dismissed it. He immediately told Jake that he should not even think of knocking out Joshua. Hearn ordered Jake to just survive and no more. Hearn said that in their fight, Jake must constantly move, avoid being in positions where he would be vulnerable to Joshua's powerful punches, and also make use of every part of that ring. Hearn also warned that if Jake stops moving for just a second, Joshua will knock him out in a split second.
Obviously, a lot of people going into this fight, they're expecting quite a demolition job from Anthony Joshua. You expect him saying like a round,
whenever he wants. I mean, I don't think AJ's not the kind of guy that's going to start kind of messing around and doing 3 or 4 rounds. And you know, you get some people go, yeah, I bet there's something in the contract where it's like, don't be ridiculous. I mean, you know, I wouldn't even allow that, let alone AJ. He's going to go in there and he's going to do a job on it. We don't play around in boxing. It's not the sport to play around and start doing rounds. No, we're going to go out there. Obviously, AJ hasn't boxed for 14 months, but you know, I don't know. People say if it goes past 1 round, AJ's a joke. So, oh, blimey, okay, can we have 2 rounds? But I expect it to be over in a round.
Amir Khan entered the discussion and made things even bleaker as he advised that Jake needs to be more worried about what might happen after he goes back home. Khan emphasized some young fighters underestimate what they can withstand from an accomplished heavyweight boxer. These statements added a very appropriate warning about what might happen as they perfectly matched Hearn's prediction about it ending in the first round. Deontay Wilder then threw a twist into the discussion with an allegation that the fight might be scripted.
But AJ, by brutal knockout, Nakisa is making a big mistake putting Jake Paul in a fight like this because he's gonna want to see him get hurt. I mean, these guys are going for the money, where really, you know, he has a life after boxing as well. Let's hope he comes out the ring in one piece.
According to Deontay Wilder, celebrity-infused fights, as seen with Derevyanchenko versus Josh Taylor, have had some shady variables. Deontay Wilder would not be shocked if this particular fight had some similar variables. His allegations have introduced a level of unpredictability with regards to interpreting Jake's confidence and Joshua's composure as mere indicators that might have been pre-planned.
We're a week away from Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. What have we got here?
As I look at it, you know, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, you know, because, you know, we in the business of boxing. That right there is just, you know, exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight, but yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in a fight. You know, I'm still the one that be thinking certain things are scripted as well, too. So
Simon Jordan criticizes the fight even harder, connecting it with the approval given by the Florida Boxing Commission. There's no way serious officials will ever agree on such a contest because there's a big difference in skills. It's clear that Jordan agrees with Wilder on scripting and represents a viewpoint that there's something wrong with an event as it's taking place.
The consequence of it is the reasons why it's in Florida is because it's one of those Wild West states that will license something like this, because no grown-up state really would license a fight of this significance in terms of a former 2-time heavyweight champion of the world against, at best, an area level fighter.
Yeah.
Ade Oladipo largely agreed with Simon Jordan, but offered a slightly more palatable spin. At least it's going to be a 2-day event, and after that, we don't have to deal with it anymore.
It's the truth.
The truth, but I also know
uncomfortable or not?
No, it's not uncomfortable. I mean, boxing's now become a 365-day-a-year sport. There seems to be events on every single day. I can live with Jake Paul having 2 of those days, knowing that I'm still going to get decent fights for the majority of the year.
To break it down further, make sure to subscribe to this channel for further uploads.